access. Recording is on. We actually now have our September 8th meeting of the Accounting and Finance Club. Honored to have you all here. I'll turn the floor over to our glorious president.
Hi, everyone. So for today's agenda, we were going to start it off with our introductions.
Can you share the screen? Can we see the agenda?
Give me 1 second.
I'll even give you a minute. Yeah, it's always good to have agendas for meetings so you know kind of where you're headed and gives you a chance to think in advance. Ouch, okay. Or you want to just jot it in the chat, whatever the topics are.
Sure.
If it's on your other computer, it's kind of hard to, unless you can zoom your other computer on.
I could, it'll take me a second.
It's okay. It's not fatal. Our monthly meeting hasn't started. We don't have 50 people knocking on the door saying, what are we doing? What are we doing? We do have 6, but
I'm going to pass it right back over to you for a second, Dr. Scott. I'm going to grab the other computer. I'll be right back.
all right, fair enough. So let's continue the conversation. Ideas for programs. We had internships, some time of interactive activities, collaboration activities. We had personal finance. Any other ideas to share of programs that you think your classmates would appreciate? And then I'll tell you about some of the things we've done in the past and things that might resonate. And some of these things are annual events. Jess, Olivia, Leah, any ideas or insights? Something that you would like to see that might be business related, student related?
I agree with the personal finance. I took a personal finance course in high school, but it barely touched on, it touched on just a little bit of everything.
Yep.
But I feel like, and now that I'm learning about taxes and stuff, there's a lot that goes into it that I think a lot of people should be able to learn about.
Okay, so personal finance would be a good topic. Cool. I know entrepreneurship was mentioned last week, and I was the Student Government Association, SGA. I did a seminar on entrepreneurship with them my second semester or second year here. But and we got the Chamber of Commerce came in. One of the directors there came over and spoke. We had 2 entrepreneurs from the community come in. So we had a program. So we got some guests invited that share entrepreneurship experiences. There's a real good book out there called The E-Myth. So if you're looking into entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship is the projections are for Gen Z, over 70-75% of Gen Zers are going to be in the gig economy, which means they're going to have a separate business, either full-time or part-time. Millennials are down to 45-50%. Boomers, we're down to 25-30%. But a lot of people are doing gigs. They're doing extra, they've got a weekend gig or other activities, a product or service they're offering or a business they have. So the gig economy might be an interesting conversation, or entrepreneurship is what is probably more known as. How many have heard of the gig economy before? Does that term mean something to you? Okay, so Leah's heard about the gig economy. No one else has heard that term? Okay. Yeah, it's you got your own gig, you got your own activity to raise some additional money, multiple sources of income, multiple sources of cash flow. It's kind of good stuff. Other things we've had, we do an alumni night every spring. We get alumni back, business alumni, we get them interacting with students in a bigger way. So we have breakout rooms, we have other activities. It's actually pretty cool. I mean, we do a panel, they talk a little bit, and then we do the breakouts. And the breakouts are kind of where it's at. You get a smaller group of 3 to 8 people with one alum, and they get a more intimate conversation about the future, about the direction. So that was kind of, I call that a success. We had a make your own Sunday social last year after we won the President's Bowl, and that's what financed it. So we got $2,000, and we spent it on T-shirts, lunch. We gave $100 a head to all the team members. Advisors didn't get any money, but it was had a good Sunday. And we also donated to the Success Project on campus, which is over at housing for students that don't have dress clothes for interviews or just need something a little fancier when they're talking professionally. So Success Closet's a pretty good cause. We still have a big, you've ever seen those moving closet, those moving boxes that have a hanger bar at the top? We have one in storage right now, ready for donations. I think we'll probably get some more donations this year. So if you start thinking about clothing or know people that are disposing of more dressy clothing, we'll end up taking it. I had one of my fellow faculty members say, "Are you still collecting? I got somebody that still wants to donate a bunch of stuff." I said, "We're still collecting." You give what you get. So. All right. Welcome back, Octavius. You ready to rock?
I'm taking it out of my email now. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, and actually, that's the good thing is to email those out prior to a meeting too, to the executive board, so that we all have an idea.
Yes, sir.
Live and learn. No harm, no foul. Another successful event last year was our blockchain event. I think we just lost Leah. But our blockchain event was, we had a remote presenter, 20-year veteran of the FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corp. He's also 2.5 years he spent on the blockchain council for the government. He's based in DC. Real good presentation. So that blockchain and cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, is always kind of hot for topic, kind of interesting. And a personal passion is, how many have heard of RPA, robotic process automation? Does that term ring a bell?
You talked about it in class, I think.
I sure
Last
did.
class.
Yes, I did. Yeah, you were listening. Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm honored. Yeah, RPA was actually, they had a big session on it at the leadership conference, the IMA Global Leadership Conference, the one that's going in Pittsburgh next month. But it's robotic process automation is the automation of redundant tasks, of pulling data from different systems, consolidating it, putting it elsewhere, and generating information reports, helping make decisions. So what might have taken 2, 3, 4 weeks to consolidate for information can take 3 minutes when you say go. And the system does its thing. It goes to this website, it goes to this software, goes wherever it's going to go, extracts the data, puts it where you want it, makes decisions sometimes. If it's bigger than this, I'm going to put it here. If it's smaller than this, I put it there. So looks like we have the agenda on screen. Do you want to do that advanced share again? So share screen, advanced, and portion of screen so we can all see it easily. Because I know my eyes are squinting a little bit. Stop the share and reshare.
You said portion of screen, right?
What's that?
Portion of the screen.
Yep, there you go. Portion of screen. And then you can
That looks
adjust the
better.
bars to focus on what you want to focus on. And makes it bigger, makes it more readable. Thank you. It's good. Okay. Is that easier to see for everybody? All right, I'm
Alright.
done stalling.
Thank you. All right, so for today's agenda, we're going to start off with introductions, go over some goals and interests, talk about the open opportunities for elections and officers, and then we'll also speak about some of the upcoming events like the Pittsburgh Leadership Conference for IMA to see if anyone was interested in going to that. We'll discuss the planning for our October 13th agenda, which I believe you already started on that, and then we'll do a Q&A and wrap it up. So who would like to start first on the introduction?
I'll do it. Hello, my name is Jordan Higby. I am a senior and I'm majoring in accounting and finance. Yep.
All right, who'd like to go next?
I can go next. Hi, my name is Jessica Darty. I am double majoring in accounting and finance, and I'm a sophomore.
Awesome. Gabriel, would you like to go next?
My name is Gabriel. I'm a junior and I'm in management, but I'm still interested in accounting. You know, trying to figure it out if I want to change or not.
Come over to the dark side. We'll see. Over to the dark side. We'll see.
All right, and we have Olivia.
I'm Olivia. I'm double majoring in accounting and finance, and I am a sophomore.
Awesome. Would anyone like to start on their goals or interests?
Actually,
For the year?
Octavius, you want to introduce yourself too? Oh,
Sorry, I do apologize. My name's
Fine.
Octavius. I'm currently a student in the Master's in Business Administration program, and I'm in my first year of that. I should be graduating spring 2024.
And for those of you that haven't had me or don't know me, it's my 4th year at Francis Marion. I could go by Dr. Scott, but I say call me anything you want, just don't swear at me. I was asked to be advisor for the AFC, actually the accounting club, which was doing so well that the finance folks said, can we join you and become the accounting and finance club? I said, well, let's talk to our executive board. I said, I'm all for it, the more the merrier, but if they're for it, good deal, let's make it happen. So they came, spoke to our executive board. Executive board had the same feeling, the more the merrier. So we became the AFC. This was founded within 60 days of my arrival on campus. I'm not going to take credit for it. It was 2 students who actually initiated it, had the constitution, had the desire. So they just asked me to help out, and I'm still helping out.
Awesome. Would anyone like to start on goals and interests for the year? If not, I'll start off.
Go for it.
Right, so
I'll go. All right, my interest for the year is to pass my classes all this semester. And my other goal is to better understand and pass Dr. Scott's class and get a better understanding of accounting.
Yeah.
And try to get more active around campus. Thank you.
Sounds like some awesome goals, Gabriel. Thank you for sharing. Are you currently involved in any other groups at the moment?
No, I was last year. I was hard in marketing and accounting. You know,
Okay.
but
Well, we're
now
glad-
I'm just trying to get more other stuff. Other stuff.
Okay, well, we're glad to have you, Gabriel.
All right.
Any other takers for next?
And the goals could be personal goals or professional goals or club goals, all of the above.
I'll go next. I think my biggest goal is just to become more active on campus because I'm not from South Carolina, so I really don't know anyone.
Where are you from, by the way, Jess?
I'm from Lafayette, Louisiana. It's kind of by New Orleans. I don't know if you know where that's at.
You said Latvia?
Yeah, Lafayette.
You said he's
Yeah.
Lafayette or Latvia?
Lafayette.
Lafayette, okay. My
Yeah.
ancestors from Latvia. That's I read the Latvia, so I'm saying Latvia, wow, but no, Lafayette, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Jessica. How do you like the food here compared to New Orleans?
A lot different. It's good. It's just a lot different. In New Orleans, everything is usually fried or seasoned like way too much. Probably really unhealthy there. But I think I've become a lot more healthier and health conscious since moving to South Carolina.
Cool.
Olivia, would you like to go next?
Sure. I'm interested in, just getting more active like everybody else, and also meeting other people who are in the same major as me. I feel like there aren't that many doing the accounting and finance track. So yeah, just meeting more people like me.
Awesome.
By the way, I will share, we've got about 45 accounting majors, 45 finance majors, and there is some overlap, like even in this group, there's overlap. But that's why you're right, we don't have a lot in the 550 School of Business members. Less than 10%.
All right, Jordan, would you like to go next or would you like me to go?
I mean, I can go. It's just more along the lines of personal goals. So, I mean, if you want to go, you can go. It don't matter.
I'll go then. So my personal goals for the year is to reach management. I've been in banking for 8 years. I specialize in lending and building credit. So that's my main goal for the year, is to get into management and help mentor, more of my colleagues.
Hence the MBA, huh?
Yes, sir.
Good. I will share my goals. My goals are to help you guys succeed. So anything I can do, that's my mission, my goal, my desire. You guys work hard and you deserve the benefits of that work that goes with it. So
Thank you, Dr. Scott. Jordan, it's on you.
It's on me. So I guess my personal goals are to, honestly, I've only ever made one B plus, and I'm trying to keep it that way and make all A's with 21 credit hours. So we're gonna see how that goes. And another goal that I have is to do well at my internship in the spring.
Gotcha. I'm sure you will. And congrats on the great GPA.
Thank you. It
well done.
definitely came with a lot of tears.
Well, by the way, where's the internship?
It's at Webster Rogers. It's in the tax department.
The largest CPA firm here in Florence, just in case anybody's wondering.
All right, next up on our agenda is elections and officers. So currently we have a couple of roles that are open. We have Vice President of Operations or a COO. We have Vice President of Finance or a CFO, Vice President of Membership or a CMO, Secretary or Chief Communications Officer, Parliamentary or Chief Legal Officer, and that's the ones we have available currently. Is anyone interested in serving in any of those capacities?
I'm interested.
Okay, which role
What-
are you?
Well, what do the roles entail?
Do you have a copy of the Constitution, Octavia?
I do. I can send an email copy of the Constitution, or I could pull it up. Give me
No,
one
let's
second.
pull it up if we can, just so we can share what the roles do. Because the Constitution does go through and it does describe the roles in a little bit more detail. And I'll share some insights too if desired. But you able to grab it, or you want me to pull it in?
And I'm pulling it up now.
And just to let you know, one of our past presidents is doing outstandingly well with a healthcare facility here in town. Another of our past presidents is on his way to being a partner in a CPA firm as well in town. Just had his first baby about a year ago and new house. Another past president, the past president from last year has switched out of the business school and into nursing. So that's the people go in lots of directions. I've actually had students who were pre-med or pre-dental that got gone on to med school and dental school successfully with an accounting major, which is kind of an interesting background. So, all right. Scroll up. CEO oversees, represents, promotes, and is our relationship. Congratulations, Octavius,
Thank
and
you.
appreciate for taking on the role.
Currently, we have the COO role up for grabs. Does anyone want to do that? Are you interested
Actually,
in that one, Olivia?
Why don't we go through the roles and I'll do a brief commentary. I mean, you can read what it
Okay.
says, but I'll do a brief description if that helps.
Okay.
out. And then people can think about it and say, yeah, I could do that, or maybe not this semester, maybe next semester or next year, or maybe I'll take a different role this semester or this year and roll into another role next year. So those are some options.
Okay, well, I'll pass it over to Dr. Scott for this one. He'll give a brief overview of each role.
Okay, so Chief Operating Officer is kind of the number 2 position behind the president. As it says, assists the president in all operations of the organization. Basically, as a Chief Operating Officer, is integral for making things work, succeed, and any programs we have, activities we have, has input and helps with the direction. Make sure to guide forward as the president does as well. CFO, Chief Financial Officer, keeps the financial records. We do have 2 accounts, just to let you know. We have an account with Francis Marion, a couple $100. We do have an account with a credit union here in town with over $1,000. Most of our activities are sponsored, so we'll get $200 to $400 to pay for food, to pay for stuff that we do for our meetings. And we ask for sponsorship. They also, sponsors often supply swag, materials, give away stuff for our students. So we've been in pretty good financial condition, and we better be as an accounting and finance club, right? But that the CFO oversees the financial records. And by the way, any of these titles are kind of cool to have on a resume or LinkedIn profile. CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, or VP of Membership, is the key role is facilitating members, getting people engaged, getting people involved. And that's the outreach, social media. We've had a Facebook page in the past, or if you do things on LinkedIn, Instagram, any other tools of the trade. We haven't done anything on TikTok yet, but that's the social media comes in as part of the CMO role, Chief Marketing Officer, or VP of Membership. And by the way, all our titles are purposely dual titles. The chief, the C-suite relates to business, highly recognizable on a resume. The standard officer roles of VP, treasurer, secretary, those are organizational titles that are typical. You get both titles to go with. Secretary, basically keeping minutes of the meetings, as well as reviewing and the next meeting saying, as part of the typical agenda, you review the minutes from the previous meeting, get them approved, and they go on the record. Okay. And it helps the president create the agenda for the next meeting. Parliamentarian, we follow Robert's Rules of Order. So Robert's rules, you bring up motion, second the motion. Then there's a science to it, and anybody who's pre-law, this is a great position to be in, because being a chief legal, officer on your resume and then applying to law school, they say, oh, you've had an interest in the law for a long time. And then we've got the past CEOs, which are ex officiary. Once you become a CEO or president, you're always a CEO or president. You're always welcome in the club. So you've got a lifelong connection to FMU and to the AFC. And I have the duties of advisor. Anybody that becomes faculty that wants it, let me know. We'll work it out. But as advisor, my job is to facilitate helping things, make things happen. So that role is not open, and neither is CEO right now. But those are all things that can be sought long-term. So let's go back up and scroll back up.
Mm.
And see,
Can I be parliamentarian again?
you want to be parliamentarian? Sure. And well, that's I will
Again?
not. Okay, Gabrielle is self-nominating for parliamentarian.
Because I am. I was that before, so it isn't like I'm.
Yep.
I had that role previously, so.
Yep. And again, you want to make sure you get familiarity with Robert's Rules of Order. And I can get you some information materials. regarding
Like last time, I was.
Yep, you reviewed that at the last time, so you want to get gain. Does anybody else want the parliament? I mean, I'll fill in as parliamentarian until Gabrielle takes over, if he's the chosen person as parliamentarian. Anybody else want the parliamentarian role for chief legal officer?
Well,
And I will move that Gabrielle gets the role of parliamentarian by acclamation, which means unanimous. And I'll ask all in favor. Give a thumbs up and aye. Aye. Congratulations. You're now Chief Legal Officer, parliamentarian. So that's how formal it is. That's how tough it is to become an officer in this group.
no.
So congratulations.
Congratulations, Gabriel. Olivia, what role stood out to you, or Jessica, do you have a certain role that stands out to you?
Maybe the CFO.
Awesome. All in favor? Or does anyone else want to do that role? If not, put a thumb up if you're in favor.
This is for CFO?
Yes, sir. All right, congratulations, Olivia. You are now our CFO. Jessica, did any role stand out to you? No pressure.
I was kind of curious about the, I can't really see what
Scroll up.
it's section 2,
Other up. Here we go.
the COO. What would I do in that role? The Vice President of Operations.
You got
Okay,
it, Dr. Scott, or you want me to explain?
you go for it.
Okay.
Since you'd be in
So
it
in
too.
the COO role, you'll be helping me out as far as recruiting, putting efforts together for fundraisers, which we'll go through Dr. Scott for a vast majority of it, but really promoting it, right now, I believe would be the most ideal thing. Getting more people to join and helping us grow.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm interested in that one.
Okay. All in favor, thumbs up for aye.
I think we have a winner.
Congratulations, Jessica. We're glad to have you as our COO.
Thank you.
After the meeting, I'm sure Dr. Scott will fill you in on anything else that is needed. I'll still be in here, of course, but he'll definitely fill in on that.
Okay.
And Jordan, I know you said you have a really busy schedule, so we respect that. And thank you again for coming tonight. All right, and next up on the schedule. Sorry, guys. Next up was upcoming events and activities.
I'd like to add an item to that activities list.
Yes, sir.
Next, I believe it's next week, our activity fair in the afternoon. Let's see, what's the date of that? Student activity fair coming up the 22nd of September in the afternoon. It's the same as the IMA conference this Thursday and Friday. We're gonna need some help at that as far as setup and presence. So if anybody is available on that Thursday that may not be going to the IMA conference, we're invited, by the way, to the IMA conference. It's a 2-day conference, but we can drive in, drive back, and that's on the agenda. But we're gonna need some students, for the activity fair. By the way, is anybody interested in the job fair tomorrow? IMA job fair? Because it's a virtual fair, not a big deal. They also have a job fair at their leadership conference in Pittsburgh. But if you've heard me pitch internships before, major employers will post in August, and beginning of October, they'll unpost and start the actual accepting of applications, interviewing, and making decisions. So there's a really narrow window for summer internships from the major companies.
Said that September 9th is virtual.
Yes.
Okay, what's the start time?
It is 1 to, let me just verify that. It is, the IMA conference is 12 to 4. Noon to 4 tomorrow. And you get to post a resume. They'd like you to be an IMA member. If you are not an IMA member, AFC can sponsor you. It's like $25. We'll sponsor you for membership, and then you can go free to the conference. There was some question on the CMA Scholars Program. I'll talk about that later if you like, if anybody wants to know more about that. But because that CMA Scholars includes free membership and free testing and some other things for the CMA. The IMA, we are an IMA chapter as well. Not only were we chartered as an FMU chapter in October of 2019, by December, we became an IMA chapter, an IMA chartered chapter. So we are official recognition, and Columbia is the parent chapter for us. And they've got some funds waiting for us. Every time we have a member, they give us $10 a head towards our membership. So we get some funds from them too. We applied for that this summer. We got them. They're sitting in the account of the Columbia chapter right now. Ready and waiting. The treasurer will help us get them. Thank you, Olivia. Okay. Anybody interested in spending a day in Myrtle Beach? Thursday or Friday, the 22nd or the 23rd? Okay. That's easy. And the career fair, you want to make sure it's on your agenda, because even if you're not really looking for a job or internship, it doesn't hurt to go to these things to get the exposure. I'm always a proponent of getting experience, because there are a lot of people that jump at these things, and it's always good. Some people are more introverted and they're kind of a little more shy, and others are less shy, but it's good practice to get a feel, to get a comfort level of attending these kind of things and participating in these kind of things. Did anybody else give blood yesterday? Those are good things to do too. No? No take. Okay.
Okay.
Anybody want to talk about Pittsburgh?
So is anyone interested in the Pittsburgh IMA Leadership Conference?
I am definitely.
Sure, why
I am
not?
definitely.
Sure, why
Definitely, I
not?
like that. So Gabriella and Jess, you both are interested. That's cool.
Gabriella and Jess, you both are interested. That's cool.
Anybody else?
Anybody else?
I'll give it a brief description and then follow up.
I'll give it a brief description and then
We're going to be
follow up.
speaking what's called a PEAK grant from this university, $5,000 grant,
From this university,
which will fund our
$5,000
students' participation.
grant, which will fund our students'
I'm not
participation.
sure if I'm going to be able to go myself as a chaperone,
I'm not sure if I'm.
but I don't
going
need to be
able
there
myself
for
as a
students to be
chaperone,
there.
But I don't need to be there for.
The leadership conference as a gathering,
Leadership conference,
some pretty impressive
a
executives
gathering,
and
pretty
companies
impressive
and presentations.
executives and companies.
And it's also a chance to meet fellow students
And
that
it's
are
also a
interested in
chance
some of the
to
things.
meet fellow students that are interested in some of the things.
So I'm a bit, we had the first one we did, I think I mentioned to some of you,
We had the first one we did, some of you,
in October of the year, I started in end of August.
October of the year, I started in the end of August.
Actually, Gabrielle, I think your computer is echoing.
Actually, Gabrielle, I think
You-
your computer
you
is
don't mind?
echoing.
Thank you. I think that's better. Yep. So as far as we got a PEAK grant, I co-wrote a grant with Pam Turner, my managerial accounting instructor, Professor Turner. And we were able to get the grant. We had 11 students participate in the first conference because it was so close. I said, IMA is having a conference. It's a 2-hour drive. You don't even have to fly. And so we got the funds, and it was an amazing experience for those participating. And it was a fun event. They had a bowling night, they had parties and activities, and they had the professional stuff, and they had a career fair, job fair. So it was really a chance to branch out, discover. I remember taking a tour of Duke Energy. Some others took a tour of Bank of America. So they had tours going on at some of the local facilities. Pittsburgh is a neat town. I had an uncle from Pittsburgh. It's the intersection of 3 rivers, a lot of industry. My uncle's at US Steel at the time. Had a bunch of patents in his name. But Pittsburgh is a pretty cool place, interesting place to go. Anytime you get chances to attend these events, especially with 0 out-of-pocket costs, or if you want some spending money, that's on you, but everything else is taken care of. Try to take advantage. They're great resume stuffers, LinkedIn stuffers. Attended the IMA Leadership Conference. When you can put that on a resume, they say, "Oh, you've been engaged in the profession." I was accused of not being engaged in the profession. I had 3 years before I came back to Boston and started majoring in accounting for a 2-year program, finished my bachelor's. And when I was interviewing with the Big 8, one of them said, "What's your commitment to the accounting profession? You just started last year in the accounting." I said, "No, I've been interested in accounting for a long time, yada, yada." I actually volunteered for the AICPA conference that was in Boston, their national conference. So I was a host. And so I was committed and was engaged. So anytime you can engage and participate, it's to your advantage to do so. One person on this call reached out and said, "I'm ready to register and they want me to pay." And I said, no, wait a minute, don't pay yet. We got to get the funds until pretty good chance, 95% chance we'll get them, but not 100%. So I'm saying, don't pay yet, no guarantees, unless you definitely want to go and you don't care if you get paid or not. I said, let's hold off. Let's make sure we can make this happen. So, and then the airfare will be covered, hotel will be covered, registration's covered. They have meals there where you get to meet and interact and network. Make sure your LinkedIn profile is up and running before you go. And I'll talk about this more, but the thing to do before you attend these conferences is you reach out to either other participants or the speakers. Looking forward to hear you speak. The CEO of this company is going to be there. The CFO of GE might be there. The CEO of, in this case, US Steel might be there. He spoke actually last year. It was virtual. And you reach out and say, "I'm excited to see you come and share your insights. Looking forward to your participation. Would be honored to be added to your LinkedIn professional network." You'll get that speech from me later on too. But you want to do some outreach, because then people will say, "Wow, you took the initiative." They recognize your name, and I've seen students do that and actually get a byline when the person's talking. I even had so-and-so reach out to me before the conference. And that's kind of powerful when you can get recognition by whoever might be attending. And then they might reach out to you saying, "What would you like to hear about?" I actually had somebody reach out to me saying, "Oh, I know you're attending this conference. I'm keynoting, what do accountants want to hear? So they had a conversation with me about what they should talk about based on a mutual interest and mutual attendance. So these are powerful things to participate and to take a part in. So any questions on the conference itself? Once I get approval on that, I'll be applying this weekend, and within 2-3 weeks, I think they will be meeting and making peak grant approvals. But any comments or thoughts? Gabrielle, Jess, thank you both for taking the initiative and sharing the desire to participate. I have one other student who I think is very interested, but we shall see. By the way, it depends, and there will be a selection process. There's no guarantees. We're going to see what the budget is. We're going to see how many people want to go, and there is a selection process. But being a board member of the AFC enhances your candidacy, shall we say. So we'll make sure that you get recognized for your participation.
I will say that conferences are definitely very beneficial. I'd love to go, but I can't afford to miss like the classes that I would miss just because they are the higher level classes. But I will tell y'all that if you can, I would highly recommend going to conferences like this. I went to the LEAP conference over the summer for Webster Rogers, and that's actually how I got my internship, was because of that thing that they did. So any opportunity that you have that you can take to go to a conference, highly recommend it. And Webster Rogers is not the only company that does a LEAP conference during the summer. I think Malden and Jenkins does one too. So actually a girl that I actually met her at Scapa Fall Fest, and we keep running into each other and exchange contact information. She said that one was a really good conference too. So any chance that y'all get to be able to go to stuff like this, I highly recommend that you take that opportunity.
This summer, one of our students worked for the Big Four as an intern. And the Big Four does these leadership conferences as well. They're very powerful. And Jordan, I think it's cool that you met. I like the way you said, I keep bumping into her. You know, you professionally, you see these folks, and these are your, what I call future fellow alumni from FMU, but also your future colleagues and fellow professionals. So you meet them at a Scapa conference. You meet them at an IMA event. You meet them wherever you go and whatever you participate. And these will ultimately have major impact long-term. And that's the kind of person you can say, oh yeah, what's going on over there? And what's, again, you network, you make the connections. It's kind of cool, kind of powerful. So follow the Scapa if you can. I mean, Jordan will be there. You can even network with Jordan there on that Friday. But by all means, I block out the calendar if you're able to on the 19th Friday for the Fall Scapa Conference as well, Fall Fest. That'd be a good day. And by the way, I like taking the van because I get to meet my students too, and we get to chat on the drive in and on the drive back. And so that's kind of that gets me going, because I gain insights into my students, what they're after, what they're looking for, and how I can help them best succeed. Because that's, like I say, that's why I'm here, is to help you make a difference. Thank you, Jordan, for the encouragement.
All right, and then we have the CMA scholars that's listed on here, and Dr. Scott can fill us in on that a little more. From listening to you all, I think that would be something great for Olivia to look into, since she's doing accounting and finance. But Dr. Scott can give you more info on that.
How many of you have heard of the CMA, Certified Management Accountant certification? Let's show of hands. How many of you have heard of the CPA? Okay, so CPA is Certified Public Accountant. It means you pass 4 tests. You got 150 credit hours for a master's and a bachelor's and it's not all business courses. The 150 credit hours, there's a certain half of those roughly are business and accounting. The other half can be French, history, sociology, anything you want it to be, foreign language. Those are all things because they want well-rounded accountants. The CMA, Certified Management Accountant, is 2 exams. It's not geared for public accounting, it's geared for private accounting. So if you are a CFO, which we have one in our midst right now, we have a CFO right now, Or if you are in a corporation, not in public, the CMA is a very well recognized gold standard when it comes to certifications. As I say, it's 2 exams. It's the way the CPA is more audit, tax, business, and there's some other things on it. The CMA is finance, accounting, management, ethics. It's a little more broad-based. It does do a heavy dose of cost accounting because that's the nature of internal accounting, but it also does finance and financial statements and the whole accounting and finance parts of things, as well as management. The CMA Scholars Program and the CMA Scholarship, we get 10 scholarships a year for Campus Francis Marion that we can award. The scholarship is cool. It not only is a great resume stuffer or LinkedIn stuffer, CMA scholarship recipient from the IMA. We have, as a exclusive group of 10 that we can get. What you get is 2 vouchers for the exams. You get a 3 years worth of membership in the IMA. And you also get the study materials if you so choose to study for the CMA exam. And it takes about 60 to 120 hours per exam of study time. So Jordan, I would not encourage you doing it this fall or this spring, given your schedule, but maybe in the summertime, if you have some time, that might be something that you can walk out CMA certified essentially with your bachelor's degree. And I can't do that with a CPA, but you can do it with the CMA. The Scholars Program is just a group to keep us honest. So we get together some students that say, I want to study. Maybe I'm starting to start studying in Christmas break. And I'm going to take the exam. Maybe I'm going to start studying next summer. But it's more of a mutual support group. So the CMA Scholars Program is scholarship recipients, which basically you write a paragraph why you want to do this, why you want to get your CMA. And if I get 8 applications, congratulations, you win. If I get 12 applications, 10 out of 12 will get CMA scholarship. In the past, it's been neck and neck. One of my pitches is there's so many scholarships that go unclaimed because not enough people apply. And not to take away from Jordan's scholarship from SCAPA, but SCAPA is one of those organizations that will get that I'm a SCAPA rep here on campus. They say, help us, please get people to apply. You know, we pass the word. I've had students win 2 scholarship awards from SCAPA. I've had students win 1. I've had students, basically anybody who applied has a very good shot getting a scholarship. Now, chances are the folks that are applying are the cream of the crop in the first place. But the other side is I've seen so many scholarships go unclaimed. There was a group called Enactus, which is part of Students for Enterprise. The guys from Walmart, Sam Walton was a big sponsor at one point. I'm a Sam Walton fellow. I was active in the organization as an advisor. But they have these amazing $50,000 and $25,000 scholarships. And they might get 3 people applying. What are your odds when 3 people apply for one of these things for 50 grand? That's not a bad investment of time and an opportunity. So those are the things that I urge and encourage. And I'll be talking more about the CMA Scholarship and the CMA Scholars Program as we go. But this fall, we'll be soliciting folks to apply for the scholarship that are interested. Anybody have any questions on that at this point? Anybody have any questions on that?
I may get off a little top. You mean the scholarship program, that whole little thing with, you remember the first year, it was like 2020, about when the guy said that he was offering scholarships in the programs to get your CPA by like he get grouped it up. You guys group up into a group and you pass.
Well, I think it was the CMA. We've had the program here for 3 years. So you very well maybe talking about when we did solicit for folks to apply for the CMA scholarship. We actually have given away some CPA courses from other vendors. Jordan is actually our Becker CPA review rep. So congratulations. But we also have had others, Surgent. I actually repped for a CPA review program when I was an undergrad at Boston. Why did I do it? Because I got a free course. I didn't get paid for it. I got a free course to get my CPA, which is very helpful. So those are things that you do want to take advantage of. And we've been able to give away some of these CPA review courses and some of the CMAs. When we ask for swag from sponsors, when Becker, hint, Jordan, sponsors one of our meetings and wants to give away a CPA review course as a prize, or just wants to pitch in a couple, $200-300 to pay for food, that's fine too. So the sponsorship, the swag, I've got a bunch of Becker highlighters in my office and pens if anybody needs them. And then I also have some Becker sunglasses. Someone was looking for them at our first Friday night celebration. So anyways.
Sorry,
ahead.
I was going to say, I can definitely talk to Carson about sponsoring an event, but I do believe that if Becker sponsors an event, they'll want it to be an event related to the CPA and CMA exam certifications in their study course material.
Well, what we normally do with that is we say, you as a sponsor, you get 15-20 minutes of exclusive time because you're presenting about the CPA and certification. So if we talk about personal finance, we can very easily integrate a segment on working with an accountant, working with a CPA. When do you need one? And what is a CPA? And here's how you get to be one. Not that we're going to make everybody who attends a CPA, but we're going to help them understand what a CPA means. It means they pass the test, they have experience, they have a degree, and they can help in taxes, they can help in audits, they can help in consulting, any financial related stuff. So I think it's pretty easy. It doesn't have to be a CPA titled event. It's easy to piggyback that on to, I mean, we had a certification night. We had a CPA, a CFP, a CFA. We had a variety of certifications represented. So if you talk to him about that, that might grease the wheels and say that's what we've done in the past, because we probably won't have a CPA only event.
Well, it would be CPA and CMA, and they also offer other study course materials, not just this for the
They have a real
CPA.
good, they have a data analytics program that's really
Yeah,
good. So-
data analytics and stuff like that. One other thing, whenever I got the scholarship for the CMA thing, it was only the 3-year thing. I was trying to look at it now to see if it still is only 3-year. I don't have time to study for it right now. And it expires next month. So,
Yeah, I've been able to talk to the IMA very easily. I haven't graduated yet. I haven't been able to, but I want to do it next summer. Can you extend it?
Mhm.
If you need someone to run interference, let me know. But they're very liberal. They want to promote the CMA. And when they find good candidates like you that have the scholarship, that actually are interested and engaged, they want you to be a CMA because you're going to promote the profession. You're going to promote the certification. So I would be very surprised if they would deny that. And if they did, I'd have a chat with them. I'm happy to do that, to run interference. But if you have a chat with them and saying, when's my expiration? I haven't graduated yet. I really want to do this. What do I need to do? You don't ask if, like you never ask a lawyer, can I do this? Because a lawyer's going to say, of course not. But if you say, how do I do this? How can I get an extension? How can I pursue? Then that's the way to ask those kind of questions. So, but thank you for pointing that out. And yes, you are one of our scholarship recipients, one of the esteemed. So, and you can go to the career fair tomorrow for free.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So about the CMA, y'all keep saying scholarship and then certification. Is the scholarship, like, I know it pays, you can have the option to, get the study material, everything like that. Is it also just a scholarship in itself?
Okay, yeah, the CMA scholarship is no cash. Let me be clear about that. It says scholarship, but you don't get a check. You get 2 vouchers, one for each exam, the 2 exams that are required. You get the study materials and you get the membership. They say it's about $2,000 value of stuff you get. So that's the scholarship. The scholars program is more of a networking group that says, hey, not only do I have the scholarship, so Jordan would not be participating in the scholars program at this point because she doesn't have the time to study. But scholars program is a little more informal, saying we get together once a week, every other week, where are you at? How you doing? Any questions? Any challenges? And it's just a mutual motivation. It's kind of a study group in a sense. Not that we're studying together, but we're supporting each other for those on the path. So the CMA Scholars is a subset of those that receive the scholarship. So the scholarship means I've got the honor, I've got the vouchers, I've got this, I won, I'm in the winner's circle. But the scholars program is more, and that's not a bad resume stuffer either, in that you can say, not only I get the scholarship, I participate in the CMA Scholars, almost like an honors program in a sense. So does that help out, Olivia?
Yes, thank you.
Fair enough. Okay.
All right. And we were going to finalize our timing and program ideas for the October 13th happy hour.
Let's do that.
So right now on the board, we have entrepreneurship, investments, personal credit, personal finance, and trading or investing. Does any of those stand out to any of you? What do you feel that people would enjoy the most, and what would attract, the most amount of students coming in?
I think entrepreneurship, a lot of kids that I've talked to just even like the past like week or so, everyone there will be like, I'm a business major, but they're very interested in entrepreneurship.
Okay, thank you. That's excellent feedback. Olivia, what do you think?
I mean, me personally, I'm interested in personal finance because I feel like that, pertains to your life, everybody's life as a whole. So yeah, personal finance would be one that I think would be lucrative to other people in the business program and beyond.
And just to let you know, we go cross campus. Almost 4,000 invitations get emailed out to our programs. So it's not just accounting and finance, it's not just business, it's across the board. And we do attract a diverse audience of majors. So you bring up a good point of interest to students. So food for thought. That's not to say entrepreneurship isn't universal as well. A lot of folks say, I might be a biology major, but I got a gig and I do car detailing or landscaping or whatever else. Might have other business interests that go with that.
All right, Gabriel, did you have any ideas? If you are speaking, we can't hear you, Gabriel. I'm sorry.
If you're on mute, Gabriel.
All right. I'm guessing no ideas. And Jordan, you said investing last time, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So, Dr. Scott, I'm gonna get you to step in. Do you think we should vote on it, like on the final one, or should it be two?
Well, there are probably a couple of directions we could go. We could say we're going to focus on maybe two of the topics or even three, and it may depend on what speakers we can get. And I will say, although, yeah, I've got a bunch of connections I can reach out to, and I do that if need be. I'd rather have my students do the outreach, seek out alums, and invite them to speak, or have a panel. We've had panels of 4, 5, 6 people before on a topic. We've had individual speakers talking on a topic, coming from, serving our students and coming back to discuss. And that builds the rapport and the relationship with you directly with the guest speakers that are either business professionals, alumni, or both. So if anybody has anybody in particular in mind, or an organization they've heard of, that they might be thinking about an internship or a job, or even a CPA firm that they have some affiliation with, that they know somebody specializes in entrepreneurship, or specializes, or any bankers you know that specialize in personal finance or entrepreneurship, or lenders, or if you know any investment advisors that focus on trading or understand day trading, or any students. We have students that are often day traders or doing interesting things. So it's kind of a match of what are we trying to focus on as far as student needs, and what are we trying to gear up for in terms of available resources? Who do we know that might be a good addition? So those are the kind of things that, and by the way, I was talking about RPA earlier. I think that would be one. Artificial intelligence and robotic process automation, I think, would be a real powerful offering to share with folks. Career stuff is always good to share. These are good topics, though, you guys have come up with. So I'm impressed by the thought process of saying, hey, this is where we think interest might lay. And I would agree, all of those are good topics. So now it's a question of finding the resource. We have a month. And hopefully in the next week or so, we'll come up with a speaker or two or panel and figure out how we want to handle that. Now we have an executive board that may want to have an additional conversation before next Thursday, if it's convenient. But we need to figure out what we're doing. And then if we can find a sponsor, all the better. You know, if we go to any of the stock trading companies here in town. I was talking to somebody from World Financial Group today, who's from California, but World Financial Group is a global in terms of investment and advising. Northwestern Mutual Life has one of the best internship programs in the country that I found as far as where things go. Some of you may be familiar. I mean, here in town, there are a lot of companies out there that do investments and that do stock trading, that you may find a worthwhile conversation, someone to talk to. So I guess I'll open up the floor. Does anybody have familiarity with anybody from maybe Edward Jones here in town? Or from, there's Raymond James, there's bankers, there's other trading companies, there's financial advisors. They're very much into financial education. There are insurance folks out there. There are bankers out there that have curriculum and programs that they share with schools, that their banks have to say, hey, personal finance. There's actually a personal finance week that comes up in the spring that has resources and tools. So those are all things. Does anybody know? Does anybody have a contact, a friend or a family friend, a colleague, or parents of a fellow student that might be in any of these businesses that you think might be a good addition?
I think I know one. He has his business in Florence. He started off at Wells Fargo with me. I'll reach out to him through LinkedIn and see if he's available. He actually graduated from Francis Marion, him and his partner that started that firm.
Cool. Is this an investment advisory firm?
It is Crescent.
Okay.
It's with Jewel Etheridge and Tyler.
Cool. The other thing is, if you can think of any organizations, you can either speak to other faculty members or friends that may know some folks, and ideally it's going to be folks here in town, because they're gonna want to support Francis Marion. How many of you been now? Are you all on LinkedIn, by the way? Is anybody here not on LinkedIn? I'm going to make a suggestion. I'm going to have you. Does anybody want to see a quick demonstration of the alumni feature on LinkedIn? to help to see if you can do some outreach? How many, give me a quick show of hands. Anybody want to see that? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to go over to LinkedIn. And the alumni feature is incredibly powerful. Let's go over and take a look. And if I go in and I go into Francis Marion University. I'm going to go here, Francis Marion University. And under school, not the Alumni Association, but under the school itself. So I'm not going to go FMU, click on Francis Marion. And if you see here, we've got over 17,000 alums and students participating. All right. If you go over to the alumni tab, not my employer, not the home, not the about, not the posts or jobs. If I go over to the alumni tab, I can search. Well, let's see, I'm going to go show more at the bottom. And there's 6 different columns. You only see, and what's kind of cool is you can say, oh, wow, we've got 256 people out of the 15,300 alums on LinkedIn. Actually, I'm gonna do that trick too. I'm gonna do a reshare. I just make it magnified a little bit. Share screen, advanced, portion of screen. So hopefully you can see this a little better. Out of 15,300 alums, 256 work at McLeod, 216 work at FMU, 100 are at Sunoco, 88 are at ACS Technologies, 80 are at Blue Cross Blue Shield, 70 are at MUSC, 69 in the Army, 60 at Wells Fargo, got a lot of Wells Fargo folks, Walmart, Duke Energy, Hope Health, Assurant, ADP, Prisma, and Thermo Fisher here in town, 42. You've got the geographic distribution. Out of the 15,300, all but 500 are in the US. Almost 5,000 are in Florence, about 1,500 in Columbia, about 1,200 in Charleston. Charlotte's well represented. Myrtle Beach is well represented. Atlanta, well represented. Washington, D.C., Greater New York. So if you're going to go up to New York, you want to look for some alums, you can quickly go here. I'll just do this as a quick view. You will now see 230 alums and their profiles and their pictures for that matter, and information about them. Okay. We're not really looking for folks in New York City though. But the folks in New York City, we've got 1 in Microsoft, 2 at Merrill Lynch. We've got 2 at the Department of Education. One at JP Morgan, actually 1 at JP Morgan, another at JP Morgan Chase, 1 at Fairleigh Dickinson University. So you're looking down here and saying, okay, that's kind of interesting. That's kind of cool. But again, I'm going to X that out. I really don't want New York City. I'm still going to go for all alum, and I'm going to go to the right. I don't care where they work yet, but what they do and what they studied. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to pick accounting and related services. And for our accounting majors, we've got 13 at Webster Rogers. And you probably met most of them, Jordan. 12 at Sunoco, 5 at BOA, 5 at Hope Health. Birch Ochsner is another CPA firm in here. Okay. Something they call Bosco is the nickname. ACS Technologies, they love our alumni. They have a church software. It's a church system, American Church Service Systems. McLeod Health, Wells Fargo Bank, USC, PwC. We got 3 folks in the big 4 here at PwC. Blue Cross, Farmers Telephone, 3 at FMU, Department of Revenue, 3 at South Carolina Department of Revenue, and 2 at JP Morgan Chase. Now we can add additional majors if we choose, or we can add, so we'll go down here, there can be psychology, marketing, accounting and accounting related services. I'm going to add that there, accounting. Okay, and we still have our 13, 12 breakdown. Okay, so I go down there and we're at what they studied and what they're skilled at. Excel, Office, accounting, customer service, leadership, management. So I usually like to pick by major. And I might go down to finance majors too. Here we go. Finance, I'm going to add that to the mix. So we're still, now we got 17 at Sunoco. So that we're counting or finance, 13 Webster Rogers, 10 at McLeod. So I'm going to scroll down here. And by the way, the total number that I'm looking at, if I scroll down through here, you might recognize some of your fellow alums or some of the alumni here. Okay. And so here's Phil, who's a CPA, he's CFO, South Carolina Ports Authority. He won one of the School of Business awards. He came and spoke last fall, actually, at the Performing Arts Center, the PAC. Controller, software tech, accounting, Sandy. Okay, so you just go down here and you can see all the folks that are alums in accounting. Financial analyst, Raytheon, accountant from class of 13, class of 12, senior auditor at First Communications. Okay, so you can scroll through here, and if somebody jumps out, here's someone in supply chain, 2008 grad. Physician analytics. Oh, analytics is a boom. Management, CFO. Okay, so I would say that more supply chain, VP of finance. So I'm going to go in and look at Randy. Okay, 98 accounting. VP of finance, South Carolina Technical College. Okay, experience. He's been a VP there for 5 years. He's been in the education system, financial reporting, audit manager. He was at KPMG. He was in the Big Four. 8 more experiences. He was 3 years in the Big Four. Here's what he's doing. Again, you can go through here and eyeball all kinds of folks. He served in the Navy. So did I. He was in after I was. Aviation electronics. Senior auditor state. So you can very quickly find some people that are kind of interesting. He's a certified fraud examiner and a CPA. So if you're into fraud, that's going to be kind of cool. So what do you do when you find somebody interesting? You invite them to connect. And when you want them to connect, you don't just say send, you add a note. Hi, Randy. As a fellow CPA and FMU patriot, admire this here. Fellow Navy vet. Appreciate your success. With commitment. Others through education. I would be honored. You can see I've got 131 characters left, or 129 characters. I would be honored to be added to your LinkedIn professional network. And appreciation, Dr. Scott. So I don't really know Randy. If all goes well, Randy will say, oh, Scott, Dr. Scott looks like an interesting person. Let me connect with them. That starts a conversation. That gives now me an opportunity to do some outreach and say, Randy, thanks for connecting. Anything I can do to help you? I know you're in the technical college system. and you're based out of Columbia and you help people, yada, yada. I may bump into, I might have, I think I might have met Randy at a SCAPA event, which is interesting. Anyways, so you get the idea. It's very easy to do outreach on LinkedIn. Very easy to find people on LinkedIn. Now, will he connect with me? I don't know. I'd say 80-20. There's a good chance he'd connect. Not all people are engaged actively in LinkedIn, but at least we were able to see, and he had a pretty well-developed profile. Some people just have a name and a title and maybe a job and a company they work for. They may be on LinkedIn once a month or every 6 months. But something like Randy, what I just saw, my guess is I will, within the next 72 hours, I'll get a response and hopefully a connection. Now, if I just wanted to focus on Sunoco, Sunoco has a great tax internship available if anybody's looking right now. So I go down here, these are all folks affiliated with Sunoco. Okay, financial analyst, Tara, class of 2005. Okay, Tiffany, they don't have a picture, that's okay too, but class of Vincent, he was pre-law, but now he's at Sunoco. Okay. Shared service accounting, tax analyst, I know my mom. So you can see I've got first degree connections at Sunoco. Anybody, there's a third, there's a second. But if I get down here, a couple of these folks are, I'm first degrees. I know them or I've come across them or I've invited to connect. James Megg used to be an officer in the club as well. Class of 20. Some of them may have had an internship in Sunoco, may no longer be there. James is there. Chris is there. So these are all the Sunoco folks that are FMU alums. And you say, oh, April, class of 20. Elliot, class is an analyst. Now he might have had, let's look at Elliot. Okay. So where is he now? He's at Sunoco. Let's go see. 3 years, 10 months, almost 4 years. Commercial analyst, tubes and cores, Army National Guard. He was an FMU tutor. He started as an intern at Sunoco and then just stayed with them. And he was at Fastenal as well. And then if you go further down, you start saying, oh, also worked at Coca-Cola, 2.5 years. Okay. Did inventory control, whatever. So this is a great way to do outreach, to explore, to meet people, to get exposed, and to expand your network. So this is the power of LinkedIn is in networking and finding folks that might be interesting to chat with, or could come back as a guest. If nothing else, we'll invite them to the alumni night. When we do alumni night, I go through all my first degrees that are FMUs, and I go in actively invite them saying, by the way, we want you back. And I'm obviously connected to a bunch of alums, a bunch of grads. Any question on that? How many found that interesting, useful, or something that you kind of got overwhelmed with saying, wow, LinkedIn's got a lot of horsepower. You can do a lot with LinkedIn. So Octavius, how do you want to handle the choosing the topics or presenters? Hopefully by next week, we can get closer to finalizing.
I'd like to finalize it by next week, and go off of the speakers that we are able to get.
So we've got the board here. Congratulations on your executive board status. Do you want them all to try to find 2 people that may be able to speak? Would all of you be able to do some outreach and maybe find 2 people that can either talk on entrepreneurship, personal finance, and/or investments?
Yeah, I can try and look on LinkedIn, like
Okay.
you just showed.
Give it a shot. Olivia,
I'll do the same.
Gabrielle, are you alive?
Sure. I'll put myself out there. You know,
Octavius, I know you've already taken the initiative and said, I know some folks. But the approach is, I would suggest probably saying, you know what? We're looking to have either a panel or a speaker. is there something you'd like to speak on? Because if they have a passion, you can tell them we're looking at entrepreneurship, we're looking at personal finance. Do you have a passion of what you might like to focus on? And some of them will say whatever you want. And that's cool. Some will say, I just presented about credits, get your credit history or credit score. That might be of interest to students, don't you think? And you're going to say, of course, if you've got some interest, if you've got some excitement, that's an area, or day trading, or mutual funds, or the economy and inflation, how's that affecting portfolios? Whatever it might be, whatever the passion of people that you find is the power. So, and you're going to be able to filter things that might be of interest to you. And that's going to be a conversation you have saying, oh, this is kind of interesting. Yeah, you know what? What I'd like to hear about is ABC. You were talking about XYZ, and that's cool. Any chance of taking that Z and making it into R? Because that would be really cool combination. Most of the time, folks will say, "I'd love to participate," and then the big ask is, "Would you like to sponsor?" But that we don't have to ask on the first round. But if you know of folks that might be willing to sponsor, one of my students, they opened up a Mexican restaurant on South Irby. She was here last week and couldn't make it tonight, but saying, you know what? Maybe that's where we get our catering from. That's okay too. But we will talk about food and other logistics and the actual posting and the poster and getting approval to post that on campus and foster that. And I didn't mean to take over, but I am good. I was asked, so I'm glad to share insights and help you guys out in terms, because this is for all of us. And by the way, I'll tell you one thing I like about teaching is I learn a heck of a lot when I teach. Hopefully my students learn a heck of a lot when I teach too, but that's part of the passion and the enjoyment of being able to teach. So thank you for providing that opportunity for me. Glad to be able to. Any comments, thoughts, or questions?
All right, well, we'll call for the adjournment of this meeting.
Now, is
All
our
in
next
favor?
meeting gonna be Thursday, or do you want to do anything sooner? Thursday's probably fine, but if you want to.
Does Thursday work for you all next week?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds like a winner. Octavius, if you can hang on for a minute afterwards, but thank you all for participation and stepping up. Congratulations.
All right, see y'all next Thursday.
Be well. By the way, at 1 o'clock tomorrow, if anybody's interested, I have my financial accounting 3 class. We're meeting on 250A, I think, 1 to 3. The FASB is going through some of the latest stuff about accounting. It may be too early for some of you, but if you're on campus or you want to participate, I'll be there at 1 to 3 tomorrow. That'll be after our 12:30 class. Just so if you're hanging out, you want to come, you're welcome to. No obligation. And I'm not trying to scare people away, because some of this stuff might be heavy duty into leases and rev recognition and some of the new rules and regs of GAAP. But it also might be interesting to get some perspective and seeing what they're talking about. And again, when I say it in my classes, the more you hear the terminology, the more you're exposed to it. The first time it might go right over the head. Second time it might be a little closer shave, but eventually it might penetrate. So we're going to be watching the FASB tomorrow in action from 1 to 3. So if you're on campus and you're in the area, flag me down, you're welcome to participate. Be well. Thank you all. Well, congratulations, you got an executive board shaping up.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to stop the recording.